Let us see an example of how we can read data from a file into a list of dicts. When we read data from a file into a list, typically each element in the list will be of type binary or string. We can convert the element into dict to simplify the processing. Earlier we have seen how to convert those elements into tuples and process. Now we are talking about dict. Once each element is converted to dict, we can access elements in the dict using attribute name. This approach will make our code a bit more readable compared to using tuples for the data structure with respect to each element in our list. Let us see an example to read the data from a file into a list of dicts and access dates. So here also we are using the same example. However, we are using dictionaries to represent each and every element to access the dates. We have seen this earlier also, and hence I'm not going through the details too much here. I'm just running this piece of code. It will create a object called as path, which is of type string, and using that path I'm opening, and it will create an object of type IO text wrapper or text IO wrapper. So orders underscore file is of type text IO wrapper. We should be able to use read function on top of our file. It will take care of reading the data from the file into the memory. The data type of orders underscore raw will be of type string. As it is string, we can leverage split lines. It uses the new line character delimiter and it will create a list of strings. In this case, each string will be the record from the file. Now we can preview the first 10 records and you can see that whatever data we have in the file is now converted into the list of strings here. You can also get the len of orders. You can also run wc-l on the original file itself to get the number of records so that we can validate. For example, if you are not sure whether the list contain all the records or not, to validate what you can do, you can use percentage sh magic command and you can say wc-l and you can pass this path to it. This is one way to run Linux commands using Jupyter. If you are using Windows environment, this command will not work. You might have to open the file in a editor and you have to see the number of lines using that editor, or there might be some other way on Windows. Now you can see that the file contains 68,883 and also the list orders contain 68,883. Each element in this list is of type string. Now I want to define a function which will take an order of type string and convert it to dict. You can see here, if you pass a string, it will actually split that string into a list using the split function using comma as delimiter. And then I'm creating order underscore dict, which is of type dict, using the corresponding attribute names as keys, such as order ID, order date, order customer ID, and order status. And the values from the list which is created here, I am passing as values for these elements. So the first element is order ID. It is of type integer, and hence I'm saying order underscore details of 0, and it will actually get the first element as it is of type integer. I'm typecasting it. The second element is of type string. That's why I'm not changing here. The third element is again of type integer. So this is the third element. It is nothing but order customer ID, and it is of type integer, and hence I'm using this approach to read the third element from this list after splitting using comma and then typecast to integer. And then this will take care of getting the status from this order details. So I just want to use this function get order dict, pass individual orders to it and return a dict as a return type for this function get order dict. Now let me create this function. Let me validate by passing the first element from our orders, and you can see that it is converted to dict here. If you want, you can say type on this, it will return dict for us. Okay, so now I can leverage this function and I should be able to convert each and every element to dict using this approach. This is one way where you can actually develop the for loop. So this will actually return the dictionaries by adding them to square brackets. This is another way of instantiating the list. We are converting whatever output that comes as part of this for loop into list. Okay, so you can use this approach and convert the output generated by this for loop into the list directly. You don't need to use any function for that. Now order underscore dicts will be of type list of dicts. You can actually say type of order underscore dicts. It is of type list. However, each element in this list is of type dict. To ensure that they are of type dict, what you can do, you can say type of order underscore dicts of 0, and you can see that it is of type dict. You can read the first element like this, first three elements like this, and also you can get the length of this order underscore dicts, which is of type list. It is nothing but 68,883. Now to extract only dates and to assign it to a list, we can actually use order underscore dicts, iterate through them, and access the dates using this approach. Because it's a dict, we should be able to read the date part of each and every record like this. This will take care of creating a list of order dates which will only contain the date part of our data. You can see the output here. You can actually see the length of order dates. It is nothing but 68,883. As we have seen earlier, if you wanted to get only unique dates, you can actually use set function and you should be able to get only the unique dates. So earlier the dates are repeated. Now you are seeing unique dates. Similar to this, if you want to get the customer IDs rather than the dates, you just have to replace here from date to customer ID and it will give us the customer IDs. So this is how you should be able to leverage the list of dicts to simplify your data processing. To reiterate whatever we have done so far, you can actually copy these two lines or the complete code snippet here. And then once we created the file object orders underscore file, the next thing is we have read the contents of the file into the memory. After that, we have splitted the string into list of strings. So when we actually read the data from the file into the memory, orders underscore raw will be of type string. Using split lines on top of the string, we have created list of strings. Then we have this function. We need to define this function also. So let me copy this cell here and paste it here. Then we just have to use this one to convert our list of strings to list of dicts. Then to get only the dates, we have to use this piece of code. So using this function and these 6 or 7 lines of code, we are able to convert our data which is in the file into list of dates. And if you want to get unique dates, we just have to apply set function on top of it. Now let me run this and let me run this, and then let us review the data to ensure that we got the data as expected. These are the 3 dates. You can also use len on it to ensure that we got all the dates we are looking for. You can see the output as 68,883. So this is how you should be able to use the combination of list and dicts or list and tuples to actually get the data from files or databases and process further. I have given example with respect to files. Even with respect to database also, once we connect to the database, get the data, we can convert them into appropriate collections and we should be able to process the data further. You should be very, very comfortable with this approach, and hence make sure you understand the concepts related to list of tuples and list of dicts which I have covered in the previous topic and this topic, and also try to play around and understand how you can actually use these collections effectively for data processing.